moving right along here, before we get into our phone jam, I want to introduce probably one of my top 4 to 6 people in Vector. Okay, Mr. Nate Johnson. I love Nate so much. Every single time I see him, it's like it was yesterday. And we probably see each other a couple times a year, but this is like, it was almost like it was yesterday. Nate Johnson is awesome. He was a rep in 2012. He was a branch in 2013. He moved to St. Louis and became a sales manager. He actually broke a national and regional record in 2015 and 16, working for my former division manager as well. So Nate actually held the same position that I did, and was working as a DOM, a division office manager. And that helped him become an elite DM that he is today. In fact, 2020, he had his first $1 million year, got the Rolex, which is the prize you get for doing $1 million. The company buys you an $8,000 watch. So just a little flex there. If you guys are in St. Louis, ask him to show you. He's probably already shown you his watch and his car. Nate is awesome. For his career, he has personally sold, or his office has produced over $3.5 million worth of Cutco. And, selling $1 million in a year was one of his proudest accomplishments. Nate has traveled all over the world with Cutco. He's the 3-time international Vector basketball champion. When we go on these trips, we do really cool basketball tournaments, and Nate has won the tournament 3 times. So let's give it up for Mr. Nate Johnson.
Thank you, buddy, for the kind intro. I appreciate it. I wanted to wrap things up here and do a little recognition, kind of go through the agenda for tomorrow and what to expect for the rest of the evening. So here's what I want you to do. Take a look at your notes. All right. Wherever you got your notes written down. And then I want you to take a look. What is 1 or 2 things that you learned today that you think that you could implement? Okay. Sometimes when you learn a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, like even, you're going to learn even more tomorrow. Sometimes it's tough to digest all of those things, right? Especially if you're just getting started. So what's 1 or 2 things that you learned today that you're planning on implementing to the job, whether it's mindset or, something that you learn about how to sell Cutco or a goal that you have or something like that. And I want you to throw it in the chat. What's 1 or 2 things that you learned today that you're going to implement that you're excited about moving forward? I got the upserving trick, painting the picture for Cutco, the mindset of how to sell Cutco, get used to hearing no, but don't stop there, how to sell ultimate sets. Hey, rich people aren't the ones that sell ultimate sets. That's an absolute fact, right? They don't have to be. Phoning objections, how people memorize phoning objections. I'll be honest. I think that the reason Lindsay gave that talk this evening is because I was a beast at phoning when I was rep, and I trained Lindsay. I'm just kidding. But really, that helps a ton. The chicken list, the mindset of selling Cutco and that it's $20 a day. That's huge. Getting 10 no's is a good thing on a demo. Personality, selling ultimates, painting the picture, knowing the uses of each piece. That's awesome, right? You can keep flooding the chat. So hopefully you got a couple things. Make them laugh twice. I love that. All right. Here's how I usually took notes in conferences, and take what you will with it if you like something that you hear. I used to write a ton of stuff down as we were going through. So I'd write as much stuff as I could for notes, right? Or type, or however you're doing it. Okay. And then I would have a column that said to do, right? I'd make like a to-do column, like things that I could implement. That would probably be like your 1 or 2 things that you got away from today that you can implement to your demos, right? And then you can always look back to your notes, right? So let me remind you what you learned today. We had a buddy kick things off, right? We had Fonz teaching you how to sell ultimate sets, right? I think it's fair to say that we got some pretty good reviews on Fonz selling ultimate sets and how to, right? We also had Josh talk on the Vector opportunity and kind of his path of where he got to where he's at. Josh also walked through, promotions, and some of you got a key staff promotion. Some of you are probably excited to get a key staff promotion at, the next team night, right? To earn your right to it. And then we had Lindsay talking about phoning like a champion, right? So, if you had a takeaway from any of those talks, I would put those into your like action steps, right? Your to-do steps that you have for your biggest takeaways from today. And I remember being at my first SC1. I'm excited for what's coming up next because we have roundtables, all right, or round breakout rooms, what we call them now. But I remember being at my first SC1. This was my first conference. For those of you that just started, I started like a week before this, right? So it was like 5 days. I went to my first SC1. I got promoted to key staff. Maybe it was a week later. I don't really remember the entire details. But what I do remember at the conference was there was this person named Carly Michaelis that some of your managers probably know. And I went up to her round table and I just had a notebook and I just listened. People asked questions. I asked some questions and I was literally I wrote like a page and a half of notes. And I was only at like her round table for like 20 or 30 minutes. And I was just soaking up everything that she was saying that, we're just goodies on selling Cutco because she sold 60 grand the summer before and was an assistant manager that summer. And so I was like, something clearly she's doing that other people aren't, right? So I was taking a ton of notes. It's a great way, the round tables or the breakout rooms that we're going to go into in a few minutes, to network and to be able to pick someone's brain, right? All of the managers I'm going to show you in a second that are running roundtables are like experts in their field. Okay. Sometimes you can get more from the roundtables, right? So what I want you to ask yourself is this. Okay. I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to get from roundtables, right? When we break out in a few minutes, what do you want to learn, right? Hopefully you came into the conference wanting to learn a few things. Well, hey, if there's something that you haven't learned yet, yeah, maybe you will tomorrow, but ask them tonight, right? If you want to get better at, closing, right? Ask, hey, what are some tips that you've had on closing in the past that worked well for you, right? There's different types of closing. There's a closing percentage, right? If someone's selling on 9 out of 10 appointments, there's a closing like their average order, right, is high. They sell a lot of sets, right? Or they have big like lists. They sell a lot of like lists. Okay, there's phoning, right? You can go ask a manager about like, hey, what was phoning like? I'm really struggling with this. Or, maybe it's on like the names list or people that you're building up or that you have questions on for names or leads or recommendations, whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's an area of opportunity for you. And then maybe it's having a big push period, right? We're going to have the SC2 push coming up. Right. This weekend, we call it is called post-conference pop. All right. Post-conference pop, otherwise known as PSP or PCP. You guys may have heard of that before. Post-conference pop. You're going to sell a ton of Cutco when you leave tomorrow at 1:30. Right. So have the demos lined up. Right. So hopefully your phone jam went well. Again, if it didn't, no big deal. You can make more calls later. You can make more calls in the morning, but ask about having a big push. How do I have a big SC2 push? What's the alliance like? Right? Ask for what you want. Okay. Let me walk you guys through. Let me walk you through the agenda this evening, and then what you can expect for tomorrow before we break things out here. So tonight, here's the roundtables. Okay. So you got Nate, Sammy, Kevin, Lindsay, Henry, JD, Wyatt, Patrick, Dalton, Andrew, CJ, Casey, Dylan, Blaine, Lucy, Zach, Carlos, Charlie, and Kendall. You can go to any one of the breakouts. You're going to have pop-ups on your screen here in a handful of minutes. You can pick whoever you want to go to their breakout room, right? I would have some questions prepared. Ask a specific question. That'd be my biggest tip for you. Right? So what's a question? What's 2 questions? What's 3 things that I want to get better at? And then ask them, right? And when other people are asking questions, listen to the answers too, because it's really a really good opportunity for you to learn and grow and network and connect with people. Now, the roundtables are going to go till 9. So you're going to have some time in the roundtables. Those are going to go till 9 tonight. Okay. And then tomorrow morning, all right, if you're in the Top Gun, you'll know that, or your manager will talk to you about that if they haven't already. That's at 9 for everyone else. Okay. General session starts at 10. Okay. So you're going to hop in at 9:45. General session starts tomorrow at 10. Josh is going to be emceeing, and Mike Muriel, our region manager, is going to walk you through like, you know, what's an inspiring summer look like. And it's going to be kind of like an activity where you can, you know, write some things down and some thoughts, and he's going to guide you through this. Okay. In my experience at conferences, it's a good way to get clear on like, what's your vision? What do you want out of the, you know, experience or the summer or the year, whatever it may be. Okay. And then you're going to have a Cutco skills breakout. Now, I texted Carlos and Connor before this, and I was like, hey, what are you guys at in career sales? Because I wasn't quite sure. Listen to this. Carlos is going to be teaching like lists. Carlos is at $200,731 in career sales. He sold 200 grand in college personally. He's a beast. He's going to be talking about closing like lists tomorrow, which is where a lot of your orders come from, right? And then Connor Thomas, who is still a college student, is at $159,000 in sales. Two-time branch manager, talking about building your client base and, you know, sticking with the people that you know, right? So those are two big talks tomorrow. Then we're going to have a break. Then for the general session, we're going to see who sold some Cutco over the last couple of weeks, right? Last couple of weeks, we've been in a push period, whether you started recently or you started before the push period. So we've got a countdown. We've got some awards that Josh is going to walk us through. It's going to be a pretty electric atmosphere. Mike King is going to bring it with the main event. What's next? All right. And then Buddy Boyd is going to wrap things up tomorrow as we go into a phone jam and adjourn the meeting after the phone jam. And then you are going to explode after that. So again, hopefully you got some demos booked up for after the meeting. Here's my advice for you for tonight, by the way. Get some good sleep. If there's a ton of nights to stay out late tonight, get some good sleep, okay? Because think about it. If you're going to learn a lot, right? If your brain's kind of fried, my brain's kind of fried at this point, right? We've had this conference, we had a training all day, okay? Get some good sleep, because tomorrow morning is going to kick off, and then you got the conference for part of the day. And then a lot of you, raise your hand if you have a demo tomorrow, right? Raise your hand if you got more than one demo tomorrow, 2, 3 demos tomorrow. We had people that booked 5, 8. I think 2 people booked 8 demos in our breakout room, right? So you got a lot of demos ahead of you. So make sure that you're well rested so you can perform during your presentations tomorrow. So that is what I got for the wrap up